All right, Dan, here's another one. Maybe not so much about our communities that we live in, but local businesses that we frequent that seem today, many of these businesses are promoting the LGBTQ lifestyle. And we see commercials, it seems like daily, that affirms that. And we even see stores like Publix and Target promoting this in the merchandise that they sell. And it's right in our face sometimes. What should our response be to these companies or stores or even restaurants? Should we boycott them? Should we talk to the manager? Do we write letters? What do we do? And then how do we go about doing it in the spirit and the heart behind that?
Yeah, I would say this is firmly implanted in the attend or involvement kind of dynamic. But it's informed by our conscience that if I believe as a Christian I shouldn't shop at Target because they're pushing a particular ideology, then don't violate that. If you feel that in order to glorify the Lord, everything you do, you're supposed to glorify the Lord. And you go, when I go in there, I feel like I'm defaming the name of Christ. Don't do it. Right. Another Christian can go, I don't think that at all. I don't like it. I don't support it. I don't stand for it. But you know what? I'm a steward. And they've got a great deal on that. At that point, you got to go, okay, I understand there's differences. Just like Paul would in 1 Corinthians 8-10 of meat being offered to idol, recognizing that. Strong, weak Christians in Romans chapter 14 and 15, the idea there that people are different. So just simply attending or being involved does not therefore make me guilty. So the other challenge is that the measure of support that corporations are given to this, I don't know where you would shop, because at some point, I know the argument used to be, I don't shop anywhere that they sell liquor because I don't want to support people getting drunk. Well, everybody sells liquor.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And again, it's kind of an inverted thing of responsibility. A Christian isn't responsible for somebody else buying liquor at a store that you shop. You're not responsible for that. They're responsible. And so I think that you've got to be very, very careful as a Christian not to think you're strong when you're actually weak. And you've got to flex that muscle. So I would say this is firmly involved in the attending or involvement, that people, sincere Christians, can see something, the same thing, very, very different, and both honor the Lord.
And then over time, your opinion on business X might change, right? Like I recently, a year ago, got rid of Disney Plus, mainly because the message is just so overt, so constant. It's if they're banging the drum all day, 24/7, 365 with this agenda. And so I'm just tired of it. And I've walked away from some things. I'm a big sports guy on ESPN Plus, which I got with that. I can't read the really excellent analytical articles that I love, is what it is. Target used to be a lot more in your face. They backed off from some of that. They're less public anyways. Their pride stuff is in the back. I think they've even walked back from boys and girls in opposite bathrooms. And so I still don't shop there, but I wouldn't have a problem doing so. And so things change, right? We always need to be engaged and discerning. And Ken might have the whole Disney Plus package, and that's okay too. So I can't hold him to my standard.
Yeah, and I think there are different levels of this too. Like you're talking about, I think the difference between Disney Plus and ESPN is that Disney Plus targets children.
Correct.
And they are seeking to indoctrinate children with these messages. I would have an easier time saying I'm not going to give them any money versus not shopping at Target, for example.
That's right. Very sticky circumstance here is because, for example, Disney owns ESPN
and ABC.
True.
Yeah. And Hulu.
Well, and you got to know all these interconnected things
in order Hulu so that I can watch ESPN Plus, so that I can see.
You still got to give Disney
Cup.
Money.
I'm ended up giving Disney money, but I never watched Disney Plus because I, out of conscience, will not watch Disney Plus. But they're getting my money.
They're getting your money.
So I'm compromising a little bit, but then I'm holding the line a little bit on that.
That's where you start off. Pray for wisdom. Pray for discernment. Then you assess your motives, and then you maybe engage the store. It's kind of like all this stuff. You just don't sit back and lob cannons or grenades, but you go to the store and say, I'm a follower of Christ, and this is really offensive. You engage with that. You make it an opportunity, not just pull the pin and throw it over. So I think all of this has a gradual kind of degree of intensity. Mm-hmm. You just don't start with the 357. You pray for wisdom, assess your motives, engage in conversation, take a stand, and da-da-da-da-da. It kind of goes down.
So do you think it's ever appropriate to push back on the person whose conscience says, I'm not going to shop at Target, for example, with something like, well, where do you plan to shop that this is not an issue. In other words, point out to them that there's this issue with Target. Look at the webpage of Walmart. I bet you they've got support for LGBT.
I would do that very carefully.
But I mean, and maybe if you're friendly enough,
if that person is, it's a matter of their conscience, and you start really pushing and poking on that, you could get that person to violate their conscience, and that's the thing Paul warns against. So I really
think you want to try to maybe inform their conscience rather than pushing them to
I
violate.
would hope you would build a relationship built around something other than that first.
That's right.
And then go to that.
And you might not even have to go there unless they are making it a test of fidelity for everybody else.
It would certainly relate to how your relationship is. However, the distinction needs to be made that person probably isn't thinking it's sinful. It's as they don't want to do it. So there's a distinction when Paul's talking about an offense, someone, whether it's the person who offered meat and they see you, and if you eat that meat, they think it's okay and they think it's sinful.
And they violate their conscience.
Yeah, that's a violation of conscience, not I'm uncomfortable or I don't like it or I wouldn't do it. So that's an enormous distinction. And if somebody believes that in something that another sincere Christian doesn't believe, to Larry's point, I want them to flex that muscle a little bit more. And I would ask them questions. Well, where do you shop that you don't think
that you're not supporting this
in any way, shape, or
but
form?
I think it goes to what Larry was saying. Is that person being disruptive to the fellowship and going around telling people?
Yeah, anyone that shops at Target's
Have you seen
wrong.
Brett? Brett goes to Target. How can he call himself a Christian? He shops at Target.
Because I take the books and I turn them around in their style.
Yeah, but the person who is doing that actively, that's the person that I would engage far more pointedly.
That's correct.
On that.
Yeah, and that's why we can't, there's no prescription, specific prescription for how to deal with it. There's nothing like, that's as you're in relationship with people. Sometimes as you spend time with the Lord and you're sensitive to the leading of the Spirit, sometimes you're going to turn the heat up when in other times you wouldn't necessarily. So I think you trust the Lord for the outcome and just be ready.
And I think the important thing to realize is that pushing that red card around at Target is not tantamount to going to a same-sex wedding.
That's
They're two different scenarios.
Yeah, completely. Very different. Yeah, very different.
Well, good. That's a great conversation. We talked a little bit about Disney and its indoctrination to our young people. Dan, this is another question that relates in some capacity.